welcome to the You Can Do Both podcast. This is Court.
And this is Ashley, and we're coming at you live from Boston. Back to our roots of a Sunday recording.
Aww, throwback.
And we're fresh off of a coffee from Greystone, so I just feel like it's a very Boston morning.
Absolutely. It's like really sunny today.
Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah, it didn't feel too bad. Is it springing yet?
No.
One could only hope.
It's teasing us, though.
Yeah, totally. We've actually had a pretty Boston weekend, or at least part of your weekend. I've had a very Boston weekend. Should we quickly recap?
Yeah.
We started out the weekend at one of our best friend's birthday dinners. We went to Prima in Charlestown, which is literally one of our favorite spots at this time.
It just hits every time.
It does. It was so cute. We actually, our friend whose birthday it was, Dana, she used to be a news reporter, so she has a lot of news reporter friends that we were meeting for the first time, and like, why were they all so iconic?
Yeah, I loved all of them.
I've never met a news reporter in the flesh before, and they were all so fun, so cool, and we discovered our new favorite drink.
Oh my god, what was it? The
martini Scorsese, yeah.
Is that right?
No, I think that is right.
Named after Scorsese. Whatever that actor is, the Italian person. They have a martini. I'll just say it's a spicy martini, and it's so good.
Guys.
I was drinking vodka, and I never drank vodka, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I had 3.
Thank God I didn't have 3 because I had 2. Followed with Coronas afterwards. Like,
Coronas.
Why did I need to chug that last Corona on the way out, you know?
Yeah.
So yesterday I had a pretty hungover day. You were feeling fine?
I was actually fine. I was feeling, silly loopy a little later in the day, but I was fine. I was just like a little tired because we were out past my bedtime.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was shocked that I was not so hungover. 3 martinis and 2 beers.
That's a lot.
From a girl who barely drinks
Doesn't
now.
drink? I know.
Yeah, but I was totally fine. I think because we had a fat dinner, and then I chugged water when I got home.
Yeah.
It was good. I mean, I was 100% still in the red recovery, but we were okay. Like, I still had a great day.
I had an 11% recovery, and you had a 21%. I was like, imagine if I participated in that 3rd martini afterwards. I would have been at a
1% club.
1% club.
1% club.
I've only been there once in my life.
I've been there once.
Yeah. It's terrifying, honestly.
Yes.
And then last night was Matt and I's 3 years. We went to a restaurant that's been on my Boston list for truly years. It is pronounced, so I learned last night, Duave. I've always thought it was Duvo.
I like Duvo.
Me too. Either way, it was a really, really good French restaurant. Definitely fancy, like more expensive than your normal dinner out, but for good reason. Like,
a special occasion place.
Yeah, it was a perfect special occasion place right on the border of Commonwealth Ave and Mass Ave. Would recommend if you have something special to celebrate.
Love. Places like that remind me of Grill 23's icy martini that
you still have to try.
We need to go.
I know. So guess what? Did I tell you that I went there?
Yeah.
Before you told me that it had like whatever. People love that place. It's like a really good steak restaurant. I didn't have a good experience. Now I'm like pissed about it. The food was amazing. We were literally seated at the worst table in the house, like in the center.
I hate when that happens.
It was the worst. It changes the entire experience.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, don't even bother putting a table there if it's going to be a negative experience.
Is what I don't understand. At these really nice restaurants, you shouldn't have a bad table in the place.
Yeah.
I get
it's
it
easily
for like
avoidable.
Smaller, more casual places when you just want to maximize the space. But when you're being bougie and like you're serving an amazing meal, every table should be great.
Yeah. No, it was the worst table in the house, and I was so bitter because of it. But it's okay. I will go back. I would love to go back for that shaken martini.
Yeah.
Are we on our vodka kick?
Yeah. I think I might be entering my vodka era.
Wow. What did you do yesterday? Anything notable?
I went to Portsmouth, bounced around a bunch of the boutiques. I got the cutest little trinkets. Like, it was just such a fun day. Joe followed me in and out of stores.
Carried your bags.
Carried my bags. I was like, I want to do this every weekend. I'm having so much fun. I spent way too much money.
That's okay.
But like, it was fun.
Every once in a
I
while.
was like, swipe, swipe, swipe. Oh, let's get that. Joe and I got a donut tray, guys. So we went to Stonewall Kitchen, which is incredible. If you've definitely seen it around, but if you've never actually tried all of their things, you cannot go wrong. The jams, the syrups, the pancake mix. We got 2 boxes of donuts, and then they were having donut mixes, and then they had like all these packages. So we got like brownie stuff, and the donut package came with like a donut tray. So if you catch me making donuts, I think it's a new hobby.
Wow. New hobby unlocked.
Very excited. And then Joe and I just came home, cuddled on the couch, and watched Severance. Have you started watching that?
No.
You have to watch it.
Else. We're never watching the same show at the same time.
Severance is like insane. There's all of these theories because it's coming out on a weekly basis. There's so many theories on TikTok where people are like, I think I cracked the Severance code. And like the editors or directors of the show are debunking the theories. And it's just so in depth, and there's clues that you literally have to research. I'm not researching. I don't even know I've fallen asleep at a bunch of the episodes, but like now I'm super into it, and I'm like, oh, Joe, why didn't you wake me up early on? Because it like takes a second to get into it. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Good. Yeah, I think where we differ is I'm not a type of person that like watches shows that are on TV.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not. And Matt and I watch a lot of bad TV.
Yeah.
It like like such a waste of time.
No, but they're like feel good like shows.
Yeah. Well, we started watching something a couple days ago. I think it's new on Netflix. We watch a lot of the same types of shows, like presidential, corruption, like night agent, like CIA stuff. And we just started another show, and I'm just like, why? Like, can't we do something a little different?
Yeah.
But once we start something, we have to finish it, even if it is shitty. But this one's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah. We digress.
Anyways.
Okay, so we've had great weekends.
Yeah, a fabulous weekend.
Fabulous. Wait, so really quick, something's going on with the bottom of my feet.
Oh no.
You know how I have that random thing during season changes where I'll get like random heat rashes?
Yeah.
I noticed that I had like a heat rash at the bottom of my foot yesterday, but in the same place on both of my feet.
Interesting.
It's right in the arch. Like if I took my sock off right now, which I won't do,
our YouTube viewers would love it. We have somehow reached, I think, a foot fetish audience on YouTube.
Fine, let me take off my sock.
No, please do not. Courtney.
I won't take it fully off. Relax. See, it's right here. It's just red.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Have you gotten a new pair of shoes or something recently that you've been wearing more often?
No, not at all. Like it happened. I realized that my feet were really cold. Like the ground of my apartment was cold one morning, and then it appeared, and now it's like there. And it was.
Does it hurt?
It's kind of itchy. Like if I were to itch it, I won't stop. I need to stop itching it. But yeah, I don't really know what's going on.
Oh, I don't like that for you. I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, we digress again. Shall we get into today's episode?
Yes.
So today, we are going to be talking about how to mold your man into your dream man. Crazy, I know. And really, that's a clickbaity way of saying when you're in a relationship or when you're dating someone, realistically, they're not going to check every single box that you may have. They're going to get really close, but there is so much compromise in a relationship, and there's ways that you can mold somebody over time into your perfect person, even if at the beginning of the relationship they maybe don't check every single box, which is absolutely normal and okay.
Yes, and I think a lot of women dating in their 20s are like, oh, he did this, I have the ick, I can't be with somebody like that, on to the next. No. Listen, if they check your top priority negotiable boxes, and overall you guys are an 80% match, nobody's going to be your perfect person.
No.
We can change the small things.
Yeah.
So don't let them ruin your potential perfect match.
Exactly. And honestly, like, you would be doing yourself a disservice if like you didn't lay the foundation, share what your expectations are of a person. I think the key here is if you have someone that meets 70%, 80% of the boxes. The other boxes that they maybe not be checking, like they need to be willing to change a little bit or like meet you halfway in order for this theory and what we're talking about to really be put into play. But it's 100% possible.
Yes. And I think, we've all talked about this, right? Men need to be molded.
Yeah.
They need to be trained. And if they are not already trained from a previous relationship, then you have to step up to the plate and you have to be the one to train them.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly fine and normal. Every man in a great relationship has been trained by some lady along the way.
100%.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about the different categories and how to mold them into a better person.
Yeah. And don't get it twisted. Like, we are not perfect humans. I myself have been molded into match dream partner as well. It's a part of a relationship. It's a part of figuring out what you need to give to somebody to match their love language, or how you can ensure that you're being treated the way that you deserve or that you expect to be treated. So it works both ways, but we're going to share a little bit about how we've molded our own men to be the most perfect humans for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really feel like we are expert people to talk about this because we have created 2 men that are now like best friends. They are the best partners. They are the best boys. Like, I have no notes on them. Fist bump. Because, we did that. What?
We did.
Yeah. Oh, love. It was so funny. Yesterday we were brainstorming like, okay, which pieces do we actually want to talk about? And I'm like, Joe, speaking from experience, come here. He's like, literally, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And I think that's probably the first thing we should talk about.
Yes.
The point is, they don't know they're being molded.
No, they don't know.
They don't know.
Joe's in the other room. I hope he's playing music or something. He's going to be listening, come out and be like, literally, you're crazy. I'm going to say, but that's why you love me.
Yeah.
Okay, one disclaimer before we get into it. You can never change a person. You're not going to listen to this episode and be like, oh my God, I'm going to change this person into like somebody that they're not.
Yeah.
You need to find a partner that you love who they are to their core. We're talking about the little minor, small details.
Yeah.
Like, and if you have a partner that loves you and you love them, both of you will want to change to be a better partner for the other person.
Absolutely.
So I think that's first step. Like, you need to find someone that's not stubborn and stuck in their ways and is open to like changing a little bit here and there to be the perfect partner for you.
Yeah, 100%. The first thing that comes to mind for me, like immediately, honestly, how I even came up with this episode topic or why it stumbled into my brain, is Matthew. When we first started dating, he was strictly a Peloton man. I don't have a problem with that. I didn't have a problem with that, aside from the fact that the Peloton was 5 feet away from where I rested my head on my pillow when I slept over his apartment. But that's the story for another time.
The Peloton has been like a saga on this podcast for so long.
No.
The day
saga in my life.
The day you guys actually get rid of that Peloton, I think we will have to go out for celebratory cocktails.
I could not agree more. So, as you know, I'm a very active person. I have always been a gym girly, a very important part of my life. In the beginning of our relationship, I would wake up in the morning, leave, go to the gym. He would stay home. He would ride his Peloton. He would sweat in our bedroom, which is so cute, so sanitary. And that was that. And it was like that for a really long time. And I was very accepting of that. I'm like, the man's a very healthy man. He's in great shape. Everything's fine. However, over time, I planted a seed of, oh my God, how fun would it be? And I guess some context to have is my type is a gym bro. Like that is just something I find attractive as a quality in someone who wants to better their life, wants to make sure that they're in the best shape, wants to look good, wants to throw me around if they need to. So that has been really my type. And he was strong, but like he didn't like look the part that I wanted him to look, if you will. And that is really maybe shallow of me to say, but that's just the reality of the situation. And I didn't even think that I needed to plant a seed until I saw that he was once a gym junkie. He was once big because he's been like an athlete his whole life. He actually played professional rugby before our time. And he would come across like photos, like a throwback from Instagram or Snapchat or whatever it was 5 years ago today. And he looked like a completely different person. And to be honest, I was really attracted to that person that he used to be. So over time, I was like, oh my God, how fun would it be if we like went to the gym in the morning together, and it was more time for us to spend together. We could work out. It just adds a different element of a relationship. And I was also listening to a lot of podcasts at the time that were proving that couples that work out together and kind of flex that muscle honestly have healthy relationships and stay together longer, whatever. So over time, you bet your bottom dollar that I have transformed him into being obsessed with the gym. But it wasn't, oh my God, I really don't like the way you look, and because that wasn't the case. But like you need to approach it as a long game, number one, and you have to slowly convince them that like it was their idea in the first place.
Yes, of course, that's a key.
And now he goes to the gym even more than I do, and when we go to the gym, it's just like a part of our routine, and it's so exciting. We like pump each other up on the way there. We have fun music playing. We flirt from across the gym. He comes over to the gym. He like touches my butt, like just like cute little flirtatious stuff. And it's literally my dream relationship in terms of fitness.
Yeah. So I think like the first step here is if there's something that you do that's a part of your routine that's really important. Like in Courtney's dream man, like they went to the gym together. The gym was a big part of their lives. Like she wanted someone that was into weightlifting and like all of the things. Like that was just a vision that you had
for
because
myself,
yes,
sure.
You are like a fitness girly and you want a partner that shares those same values.
Exactly.
So I think this can be applied to like many different areas in the relationship. But if there's something that you do that you want your partner to also do or do more of, I think what you said, planting the seeds, like this would be so fun. And then once you actually like do it together for the first time, be like, oh my God, that was amazing. Like positive affirmation. And it's never going to happen overnight.
Yeah, you can't force it. It literally took, I think, 1.5 years before we actually got the same gym membership and actually started doing these things together.
Yeah. I did something similar, but like with the timing, I've talked about this before. Joe always used to work out like midday, and that just didn't go with my schedule. Like, how am I supposed to sleep in the same bed as somebody and then like wake up before them while they're still in bed? Like, that impacts my life because I just want to stay in bed with them.
Of course.
I'm like, I need you up with me. So I mean, I definitely like told him to do it. I was like, we're gonna just start going in the morning. But I think a better way to do it is like, oh, there's like a class, like would you want to come with me the first time? And like this was kind of an easy sell as well, because once you start working out in the morning, like it is just better. It
changes
everything. It impacts your life in a positive way. You feel more awake, you feel more productive. Like now he loves going to the gym in the morning, but it took some convincing because I was affecting and changing his routine.
Of course.
That he was so used to and did for years. So like that's a small one, but again, like we planted the seeds, we started small, and it's never an overnight success, but long term, now we like follow the same schedule and it's amazing.
Yeah. And I think the common thread here, which is transferable to you if this is not the gym, is like any interest or activity.
Yeah.
It's like the catch is, or the value is, you get to spend time together. You get to do something that one of you loves, which hopefully if the person loves you, then they're going to want to do. And hopefully it becomes a routine that you guys can share together.
Yeah. I think the key here is you have to make it fun.
Yeah.
Like whatever activity or thing that you're doing together, you have to make it fun and like talk about it and reflect on it like that was the best thing ever.
Yep.
Even if it wasn't the best thing ever. Like you just have to fake it.
Yeah.
And it works. It works because when somebody that you love and somebody that loves you sees how happy something makes you and like you're talking about your relationship so positively, they're like, oh my God, that was easy, I'll just do it again.
Yeah.
And boys are they're so open.
Yeah,
they're like, okay, easy, I'll do it.
Yeah, 100%.
I think something that is also key here that has to be done at the very beginning of the relationship.
Yeah.
So I think it will be more challenging for those girlies that want to try to change things after being together with somebody for a while. I understand that's more difficult, not saying you can't do it, but if you're early on in dating, or if like you still haven't found your partner yet and you're actively dating, I feel like this is something to keep in the back of your mind, but laying down your non-negotiables from the start. I made it very clear to Joe in the beginning all of my lists of non-negotiables and like what I expect out of our relationship. And I asked him for the same. I said, like, what are things that you need as non-negotiables in a relationship? And we had like a very serious conversation. And I was like, listen, if you don't think you can uphold your end of like this verbal contract, then like it's not going to work between us. He's like, valid. These are mine. These are yours. Done deal.
Yeah. I definitely had a list of non-negotiables, but it was more so communicated as we lived our life and we got to know each other. It wasn't a formal conversation by any means, but like perfect example, Matt, when we first started dating, was someone that just like had the TV on after work. And that was his ritual. That was his like treat. He got home from a long day, didn't want to use his mind anymore, puts on a show, and it would be on while we were cooking dinner and when we were sitting down to eat dinner. And I'm a huge quality time person. I'm a huge, let's talk about our life. Let's like tell me every little detail about what's going on. And I noticed over time that TV was a barrier for us to have more of those thought-provoking conversations. And sometimes if you, even like now, like we'll maybe get into like a little stint where we're obsessed with the show and that's like kind of all we're doing. I'm like, wait, I feel like I haven't talked to you in a while. And so that's something that I communicated. I was like, I totally understand, like you're exhausted. This is your time to debrief, like not have to think, but like I haven't seen you all day and I would love if we could have at least 1 to 2 days a week. That's kind of how I started. I was like 1 day a week, and where we just we had no TV nights, or we didn't have TV until maybe 8:00. We're allowed to watch one episode, and we would cook dinner together. And depending on who was cooking what, like the other person would just hang out in the kitchen, sit on the counter as the other person's doing whatever they have to do. And over time, when he saw how much fun that was, he started to be the one to be like, let's not do TV tonight. Let's actually spend time together and like not have to have something to distract us in the background. So little things like that kind of came up. It wasn't something that I sat down to tell him, but it was something that I noticed over time, brought it up, addressed it. He was willing to experience it. And then as a couple, that's something that we really value in our weekly life.
Yeah, I love that. One thing that comes to mind that was like kind of a non-negotiable for me, but like wasn't necessarily said, was just good, solid communication in a relationship. And I didn't outright say, we need to have good communication. And if you can't do that, it's not going to work. Like, that's not how the conversation goes. When like you're in the early stages and you're talking about like, oh, like I really like you because of this. I'm like, I feel like I can openly communicate anything that's bothering me. Yeah. I feel like you have created a really safe space for me to tell you what's wrong. Like, I love the way we communicate together. And he's like, wait, me too. Like, that's really nice. So like communication was actively spoken about between us, that it was a good thing we had. And now like my money is on it. Like if you were to ask Joe, what's one great thing about your relationship, he would be like, oh, we have such solid communication.
Yeah.
And not that he didn't realize we had it, but because I said it and like said it multiple times, it's now top of mind because he's heard it so much. And he's like, wait, we do have good communication. And now like we are actively good communicators.
Yeah.
Whenever we're in a fight, we're like, yep, but we are a couple that has good communication. So we're going to talk this out. Like,
yeah.
It's so solid, and it's kind of like a pillar of the foundation of our relationship.
I honestly think that is the key to the healthiest relationships, because Matt and I feel very similar, and we honestly do not argue. Like, we don't, and the reason we don't is because we communicate about what's bothering us before it even gets to the point of an argument. Like, I could actually count on one hand how many arguments we've actually gone into over the course of 3 years, and it's because the second something is like somewhat ticking us off, we bring it up and address it head on.
Yep.
And you need that. Like, if you have a partner that bottles stuff in and like gives you the silent treatment, or just you can tell was not raised to learn how to communicate, that's something that I think you can change, but it needs to be nipped in the bud immediately. Otherwise you're kind of fucked.
Yeah. And like how to mold it, right?
Yeah.
You know, the next time you guys get into a tiff, you have to be the one to initiate that communication style. And then when reflecting back, be like, wait, I really love how we handled that. I love the way you did X, Y, and Z. I would love if like you did that more. Like that made me feel really good. I loved how you did that. You made me feel really solid there.
Yeah.
And then I mean, listen, it again doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to be fixed the next time you guys have your little tiff, but like over and over again, all of a sudden it just becomes a habit, and it's like in their subconscious, and it's all our doing.
Yeah. All us.
Yes. I take credit.
Okay, so how we get what we want from our men is by rewarding positive behavior through verbal affirmation. Like single-handedly, the easiest thing you can do is praise the ground that your partner walks on when they do something that you actually want them to do and that you want them to do more of.
This thankfully comes very natural to me. I think I give a lot of words of affirmation in my relationship. I don't know
Goes
why.
back to communication.
Yeah, I just like every time Joe does something great, I'm like, I love the way you did that. Like, you are an amazing partner. I'm like, I love the outfit you picked out. You look so handsome. And then he wants to wear the shirt again. Like, it's so easy. Whatever the thought comes, like, oh, I love that my partner did that. Just verbalize it. One, it's going to make them feel really good.
Yeah.
As opposed to never. I feel like a lot of people actually struggle with words of affirmation.
Yeah.
For example, Joe doesn't say a lot. It's rare that I'm always the first one to say I love you and all those things, but like when he says it, it makes me feel really good. Like when I cook him dinner and it's like a delicious dinner, he's like, "Oh my God, Ash, this is so good. Like, you are so amazing." And it makes me want to cook for him more. And like now that recipe gets filed in my favorites, and I'm like, oh, Joe really liked that. Vice versa, same thing goes both ways. Another thing that just like came to mind, Joe doesn't like shaving, but I love a nice clean shaven face. I got him a soap aftershave. So it smells amazing. He went to go use it, and now every time that he uses it, he comes over and he kisses me because it smells so good. So now I get my physical touch in, and then I'm like, ooh, oh my God, it smells amazing. And like, it makes him feel good. And now like he wants to shave a little bit more.
Oh my God. I think that's the easiest way to change someone's habit or behavior or activity is buy them the thing.
Buy them the thing.
Say that you want your partner to dress up like maybe a bit more, whatever way, honestly. You like a certain style. When it's their birthday or their holiday, whatever it is, buy them something that you want to see them wear.
Yes.
Men are simple creatures.
So easy.
They also, most of them don't shop for themselves. Like, that is truly how I've molded Matt to dress a little bit less millennial, is by being the one to purchase his wardrobe.
Yeah. And a lot of the time, like, we're not forcing them into anything. Like,
no, if
your
they don't
partner
like it,
wants to look good for you.
Yeah.
So like, if you like something and you verbally say that, they're like, perfect, I'm gonna go get it in every color.
Exactly. It's quite simple.
It's so easy.
Communication, sometimes the influence in just purchasing something for them. Because Matt, at the beginning of our relationship, I've talked about this so many times, but if you didn't know, you're new here, hello, my partner is 9 years older than me. And so when we first started dating, I was a ripe age of 23 and he was 32. And naturally, our styles are going to be different. Like, he had some things in his wardrobe that it just wouldn't be in a closet of someone my age. Maybe it was something that he's had for 10 years that really tells people when he wears it how old he is. Like, there was just a lot of that. And when we would go out and we'd get dressed up to go on dates together, I'd look like a ripe Gen Z and he'd look like he'd be going to work in finance. And like, that's just how it was. And so he's helped me get a little bit more of a mature of a wardrobe. I've kept him young and looking cool. At first, he was very like apprehensive to the idea. He's like, you have to be very careful with physical stuff because you don't want to make them feel bad about the way that they look and they present themselves. And don't get me wrong, the man has amazing fashion. It just didn't match mine in a way. Like, we'd get ready to go out to dinner and it would look like we were going to completely different events. It was quite comical. I should have created TikToks about it back in the day. But anyway, he was like, I don't want to dress like a Gen Z. Like, I am not a Gen Z. Like, I don't want to do. So he had some like, no, I'm good. But then just simply buying something that was maybe in the middle ground and actually showing him that you don't have to look Gen Z. There's different ways to approach style and personal style. And I can help you the same way you help me find a middle ground. And so sometimes it takes that initial first purchase for them to do something that they were maybe reluctant to do, just so that they can open their minds a little bit and be more open and receptive to change.
Yeah, also because it depends on how you bring it up. But a lot of the time, like, you have to make it think it was like their idea. You can't say, go get this, you need this.
Yeah.
You need to, like, when you're shopping, all of a sudden you throw the shirt on and be like, oh my God, where'd you pick out that shirt? That looks so good. You should get more styles of that.
Yeah.
We were the one to put it in the dressing room, but
Of
they
course.
put it on and then they're like, oh yeah, I guess I did pick this out.
Yeah.
Easy. Literally so easy.
It's called manipulation.
In, like, such a positive way.
Yeah.
The other thing that I had to learn in this relationship is Joe is not a mind reader. It was like a really upsetting discovery that I made.
That's a very universal discovery that people make.
Why don't you know exactly what I want? And how do you not know what I'm thinking at all times? Like, I would literally play games, be like, literally, what am I thinking right now? He's like, Ashley, what are you talking about? I have no idea. And I'm like, ugh.
You're supposed to know me.
This isn't going to work out.
You're supposed to know me. You're supposed to know what's going on in my brain. I don't want to have to tell you.
So I'm going to say this very nicely. You have to ask for what you want. They don't know. And the beauty of it is you really only have to ask once or twice, and then you never have to ask for it again. I had to ask for flowers, and that is okay. I wanted Joe to show up and just surprise me with flowers one day. The idea just never came across his mind. He's like, I don't know. I'm doing other things. I'm picking you up other things. I was like, okay, but flowers are really important to me. He's like, okay, noted. I was like, please get me flowers this week. He's like, I'm on it. I give that man a list. He's always a great executor. Comes home with beautiful flowers. Now, then we had to have another conversation about what type of flowers I like. And now he knows to get me tulips every single time. Like, it was very easy, and I was able to mold him into my dream partner who shows up with surprise tulips of varying colors. And, like, he came home the other day with yellow tulips, and I've never seen yellow tulips in my house before. And I was like, those are literally the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, I'm so impressed that you picked them out. Yes, I told him I liked tulips, but, like, he was exploring with colors, and now that's, like, one of my favorite, most beautiful flowers that, like, he's ever gotten me.
Yeah.
And it was such an easy, simple thing, and it never would have happened if I didn't ask and tell him exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, 100%.
And I know it's like, oh, that takes the romance out of it. Like, if he wanted to, he would. He wants to. You just have to tell him.
Yeah, you just have to steer him in the right direction. Like, that's it. You can't expect someone to know what you're thinking, know what you want 100% of the time. And yes, it can be sometimes annoying as a woman, especially depending on what time of the month that it is, where it's like, oh, but I thought you were supposed to know me inside and out, know me better than myself. And it's like, they do, but they don't know every single little thing if you don't communicate that.
Yeah, it takes time. You have to tell them.
Yeah. And I can give an example of Matt molding me so that you guys know that it's a both sides situation. I, during certain seasons of life, would literally be in tornado mode, destruct my apartment. And what I mean by that is I worked from home. He did not. He had a super long commute every single day, there and back. When he came home from work, he wanted to be in a very peaceful environment. He wanted to come home to a clean home. Not a big ask by any means, but I realized that maybe if I made myself lunch in the middle of the day and had to run back to my computer, I would leave a dirty pan in the sink. Or maybe I was working on the couch and then I moved to my desk and I kind of left the pillows out of order and the blanket somewhere, and my iced coffee cup was still on the table from the morning. And he sat me down and was like, I love you. I know you're busy. I know you have a lot going on. This is something that is really bothersome to me. And like, me being someone that loves him and doesn't want him to feel anything but excitement when he walks through that door, that's the first thing that I'm thinking of. And sometimes, I mean, I am who I am, and sometimes it's a little crazy, But before I know the time that he comes home, like, I will get things in order. And sometimes if he like showed up early, I'd be like, wait, go back outside. I need to like make sure it looks good.
Yeah.
And it just works both ways. Like, no one is perfect. Like, there are little things that can change as long as the other person is willing to be a better partner for you.
Yeah. So I think we're kind of touching on a lot here, right? We're like, okay, first you make it think it's their idea, but then for other times, like, just ask for what you want.
Yeah.
It depends on what exactly you're trying to change, but sometimes it really is as simple and easy as just asking for what you want and like what you expect going forward and having the conversation. All comes back to communication. One more good example, because I feel like this is relatable, is having your boyfriend or fiance plan a date night. I feel like especially when you live together, it feels like every night is a date night.
Totally.
But like, it's important to me that we go out once or twice a month and it is our date night. So what I did is I had to ask for it. And I said, okay, in January, we are each going to plan a date. I divided the power there. We are each responsible for one. I gave him a task. I said, I don't care when it is. I don't care what we do. I want you to plan it. So I'm still like surprised and it's thoughtful. He had to put effort in. But I did like initiate like, oh, let's do a date night. So that's like what we did in January. And it was so sweet. We each planned like a date night. And yes, I had to ask for it. Those were like two of my favorite nights. We had like such great quality time, great conversation, like nice memories. And like, I'm so happy I asked for it.
Yeah. And I think that particular example is one that like eats girls up. Like they're like, they're like, oh my God, my boyfriend, the new guy that I'm dating, isn't putting like enough effort into the dates, or like being a little bit more grandiose about it to make sure that it feels really special. And that's okay if you have to ask for it. Like you just can't expect people to do exactly what you want in your head if you don't communicate it.
Yeah, I also think it's important, like, if you're gonna ask for certain things specifically relating to like being more romantic in a relationship, I would also do some self-reflection. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, lead by example.
Yeah, like when I said that to Joe, I said, okay, like, as much as like we haven't been on a date, I also haven't planned a date.
Yeah,
I am 50% of this relationship as well. Like, I think that's important too. Like, it's so easy to pick apart your partner, but like, what are you doing as well? Like, are you actually valid in feeling that way? Probably not. It's probably like both ways.
Totally.
And you can both put effort to make it better.
So let's recap. Number 1, you can change your partner if they're willing to change.
If they love you.
Yeah, if they love you. Number 2, communication is everything.
Yes.
Number 3, lead by example. Do some self-reflection. Number 4, should I just keep going?
Yeah.
Positive reinforcement and words of affirmation go a very long way. Also, purchasing things that you want them to be more of, do more of, etc. Number 5, ask for what you want, set the expectation, set the non-negotiables. And honestly, that way you kind of weed out whether or not you should even be with the partner. So start with that. Number 6, you can't change somebody overnight. Last but not least, you need to realize the things that you cannot change in a person and be accepting of those things that they're not willing to change, because you don't want them to feel like you're trying to change every aspect of who they are and you're not accepting and loving of the partner that you are so lucky to have.
Absolutely. You fell for this person. You want them to be their own individual. It's not realistic for you to mold into the same person. While I think that happens over time in couples that love each other and are really connected, you can't force somebody to be someone that they're not. You need to respect that, or else you're going to be a mega bitch and you're going to break up and he's going to say, that bitch was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to do all of this out of love, in a loving manner, because we adore whoever our partner is and you want it to work.
Yeah. 100%. Not all check boxes are checked, and that's okay. And that's something you need to be okay with.
Yes, absolutely.
You can still have a perfect person without somebody checking every little box, as long as the boxes that are most important to you are something that can be worked on and something that people are willing to show up and show out to help meet those.
So with that, It's pretty easy. Follow these 6 or 7 simple steps, and you should be able to successfully mold your partner into your dream partner.
Snaps for that. Snaps
And
for
with that, if you enjoyed today's episode, send it to your girlfriends, share with a friend. Please rate us 5 stars, subscribe to YouTube, and we will talk to you next week.
Love you. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.